Star Citizen's latest ship, the Kruger intergalactic L-21 Wolf light fighter, is now available in Alpha 4.3.0. Well, on the PTU anyway, it'll be available when the patch goes live as well, but I'm able to fly around in the PTU now, and I want to talk about the ship. It is a single-seater fighter with no interior. It is very light as a fighter, so very agile, very nippy, doesn't want to take any hits. It's full of size 1 components, although it does have 2 size 1 shield generators and 2 size 1 coolers, in addition to everything else being like single size 1 components. It's got a little bit of defense with those shield generators, and you can change them out for whatever your configuration that you want there. It's available for between $90 and $100. $90 War Bond, $100 if you buy with store credit. It's actually a reasonably priced ship. And it is very cool because it's got these 2 size 4 retractable ballistic Gatlings that are bespoke. They are very powerful weapons at the moment. They might get nerfed. They certainly get balanced over time. It's also got 8 size 1 missiles, and the ship is pretty small at 21.5 meters long, 10.5 meters wide, and 4.2 meters high. I was flying this around in Arena Commander, and it absolutely dominates ships in Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm because you can sort of spray its very powerful weaponry at them. It's very accurate as well and highly damaging. So a tiny little burst will take out a ship or the pilot in the ship. And then even if you spray and pray, you can just collect some additional ammo. Obviously, once you're out of ammo in the persistent universe, you're going to have to go back and rearm. And that's where I think this fighter is going to really shine. If you've got something to operate it out of, if you've got a mothership for it, you can run a small group of these and then rearm them and do that to run missions, take out opponents with its very powerful weaponry and not have to worry about the amount of stamina that it has. Timeless style, a symphony of past and present, Kruger's inspiring new ship proves its time away has only elevated its pursuit of elegance, quality, and bold design. This light fighter bridges the gap between the original aerial warfarers of the 20th century and the intergalactic heroes of today, reinforcing the adage that sometimes the old ways are still the best. And they've just tried to capture that sort of retro luxury feel with the ship. At Kruger, we believe in showing you that perfection in every piece is not just a slogan, but our guiding star. We began life almost 4 centuries ago as a custom parts manufacturer, serving such industry giants as RSI and Bearing. We built our reputation on precision and quality, knowing our hard work would one day carry us into the future of cutting-edge aerospace engineering. Maneuverable might, speed and agility go hand in hand with this craft's light chassis, making it the perfect choice for pilots skilled enough to weave through battlegrounds and deliver those essential hits. And yeah, I can imagine this in a skilled player's hands would be absolutely deadly. Well, that said, I'm not sure if I can get over the fin. The fin is a little silly. I don't think it really adds much to the ship personally. So when you transition from your landing gear to full flight mode, you put a little fin out the bottom. All that's going to happen is that fin's going to get knocked and bashed and broken because I forget it's there when I'm starting to land, or I clip something. They wanted it to look a bit like a boat. They wanted to have something extra unique about it, and that's what they've decided on. It's certainly a talking point, and is it make or break for the ship? No, but I genuinely think I'd prefer the ship without it. And I do think it's replacing my Arrow in my hangar. I really like the ship. I'm going to be grabbing one. Please remember that these should be available in in-game shops or Wickelos or both in around 3 months' time. You certainly do not have to buy them with real money. Let's check out the Q&A as well for the ship. Could you introduce the Kruger brand for those unfamiliar with it? And for lore enthusiasts, are there any new developments or changes to Kruger's lore with this ship's release? Renowned for their manufacturing precision and expertise, Kruger Intergalactic is the UEE's premier custom parts manufacturer with long-standing contracts with RSI, Bearing, and other industry titans. As their success grew, Kruger methodically expanded operations into weapons manufacturing before partnering with RSI on the P-Series snub fighters for the Constellation. The L-21 Wolf is the first ship independently developed and manufactured by the company, and beautifully blends their unique design aesthetic with centuries of manufacturing expertise. To celebrate this exciting new era, Kruger updated their logo to use a sleek silver and white colour scheme to embody the subtle elegance they strive for in their products. And they're very sort of retro luxury look they're going for. Does the Wolf have a quantum drive? Yes, it's Kruger's first fully functional spaceship, not a stump craft like their previous offerings. What unique design elements or features do the team want to highlight most with this new ship? Being the first independently developed Kruger ship, we wanted to reintroduce the Kruger brand and use it as an excuse to explore the unique visuals of the manufacturer. We also wanted to push the elegance of what a combat ship is in our universe, show there is room for smooth and sleek lines on a deadly combat-focused ship, hark back to the 50s era of concept vehicles and design that we've lost over time, mix clean, flowing lines with a very aggressive cockpit location, intimidating weapons, and a landing stance that echoes historic single-seater warplanes. Does Kruger bring a unique ship UI to the Wolf? The L-21 Wolf features an adapted version of the generic UI to fit its unique and elegant dashboard. However, a bespoke UI for Kruger is in development, so we'll be getting that later, assumedly. Given Kruger's distinctive styling with the cockpit positioned in the midsection, how does this placement impact pilot visibility? The L-21 Wolf is a pure combat ship. Player visibility was one of the key design goals when we set out with the early concepting. Originally, we had the cockpit sit further back on the body. However, we discovered this impacted player visibility in a negative way. We iterated on the cockpit and the pilot's seating position early on to be confident we could make a ship that flies as good as it looks. The pilot's combat experience was always high on the priority list. And I can say that as well pretty assuredly, that the experience of flying it feels like a very powerful light fighter. It feels like I'm in control of some very powerful weapons, and as long as I shoot my target before it shoots me, that target's going down. But you're also able to dodge pretty well because of just how speedy and agile it is. The current release of the Wolf does not include accessible physicalized components. Are there plans to add them in a future update? Whilst the current release of the Wolf doesn't have those accessible components, they are physicalized in the correct positions and will be accessible and physically swappable in a future patch. What kind of playstyle is the Wolf designed for? What roles or situations does it truly excel in? It's a dedicated light fighter built for close quarters engagements against other small craft. Its role centers on fast-paced dogfights, where it leverages good maneuverability, high speed, and sharp acceleration. These qualities make it a dangerous threat, not only to ships in its own class, but those in adjacent roles, including medium and heavy fighters. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would want to use it against larger ships beyond fighters. Where does the Wolf sit in the ship pantheon for light fighters? The L-21 Wolf is a light fighter that pushes the limits of maneuverability and acceleration, placing it among the top contenders like the Arrow in terms of handling and size. However, compared to other light fighters in its class, such as the Gladius, the Wolf has a less resilient hull and a higher emission profile than its competitors. As a result, pilots will need to carefully manage the two size 1 shields that the ship has because you don't want its hull to be hit. Compared to medium and heavy fighters, the Wolf offers significantly superior handling and a respectable amount of firepower to take on larger opponents, provided it doesn't stay exposed to enemy fire. Yeah, I'm not sure how well this ship's going to do against sort of ballistics and stuff that will penetrate its shield. I suppose just trying to avoid all the shots you can. Does it have any space or storage for FPS weapons? Yes, the pilot has an external storage on the starboard side, located behind the wing. I didn't actually notice that when I was looking at the ship. And a small weapons rack on the port side towards the rear of the ship. Will the fin affect the ship's aerodynamics? Can it be toggled using the VTOL keybind? The fin, in the initial release, is tied to the landing gear state only. We're investigating player control options to allow it to be manually toggled in the future. It currently does not dynamically impact aerodynamic handling, though when the control surfaces feature hits the PU, you can expect it to have an impact in atmospheric yaw ability. Is there any way to manually retract or deploy the Wolf's weapons while in SCM? Yes, you're able to manually toggle weapons via the relevant hotkey, which triggers the retract and deploy animation. Kruger previously created a racing luxury version of the Merlin, the Archimedes. Are there any plans to develop a similar racing-focused variant of the Wolf? Currently, there are no plans to develop a racing variant. However, we would love one as we feel that it's well within Kruger's brand identity, but we will have to see what happens in the future. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that a racing version of the ship would be absolutely fantastic because you could change the hull a bit and not have the weapon hard points there, move a couple of the other bits out, and it's a fantastic little racing ship. So yeah, I really like the L-21 Wolf. If you want a dogfighter that focuses on taking out other fighters, intercepting them, harassing them, avoiding damage from them, the ship might be from you. If you want something that's a brawler, it's not a brawler. Does not want to take hits. Also, its operational range is going to be hampered by the fact that it is just a very small ship. So if you run it from a mothership, fantastic. And obviously, it having ballistic weapons, it does eventually run out of ammo, even if it has a reasonable amount. Absolutely superb in Arena Commander, this ship, just because you can pick up the ammo as you go, and you can spray and pray if you want to. And it's just nice and agile. It's nice and fast. It allows you to fly around, and it's a known quantity of zone that you're in Arena Commander, right? You're not going to be quantum traveling around. But what do you think? Are you excited for the ship? Do you really like it? Are you going to be picking one up? Are you going to be waiting until it's available in in-game shops rather than real money? Do you think that $90 to $100 is actually a reasonable price for this ship? I mean, I do, compared to other Star Citizen ships, right? It's relatively inexpensive comparatively. Whatever your thoughts or questions, tell me down below. And also, something down below, you should click on the links to NordVPN or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Or, what's that? There's a massive discount on NordVPN to give you better security, accessibility, and privacy on the interwebs. BoredGamer uses NordVPN, and maybe I'd like it too. I'm talking about myself in the third person there. That was weird, but get NordVPN. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and we're giving away an RSI Meteor, that new medium fighter with lifetime insurance and a gameplay package for Star Citizen. Everything you need to play with a cool fighter and pew-pew some fools. Just comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. Something else that you might like to do is like, share, subscribe to our videos. There's a join button underneath as well. There's Patreon. You give us a little bit of money each month and it helps out the channel immensely. Occasionally we have some exclusive videos. Come to my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. Also, you should comment on all the videos, not just because of the giveaway, but also because you can give me feedback. And I want to say a massive thank you to the people that have supported the channel via any medium. But genuinely, you guys that go the extra mile to use that join button or Patreon, it is genuinely so appreciated. Thank you so much.